Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
So it was at that point that I reached out to the boiling pot of legs of frogs. Not frog legs, leg of frog.
Mm.
And I did in fact find that if you boil them slowly, they don't actually feel pain. But I did when I poured the pot of boiling water and frog legs, leg of frog,
Right.
down my... Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night.
Hello, welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. We are an actual play podcast. Sometimes we talk about stuff. Sometimes we talk about computer RPG games. Sometimes Art carries the entire show on his back for like 3 months. But
Yep.
sometimes we do get together and we do get to enjoy some RPG. And we're not going to do that tonight. We're not playing a game tonight. No,
Nope.
we are... Actually, I'm very excited. I don't want to do the like, oh, this is going to be a glorious shit show. Tonight, we start on something that I think could be really cool, really fruitful, because I think tonight we will plant the seeds on a new world for us to explore, and a new world that will allow us to explore it in like different capacities and different roles, meaning that we're going to start in this world, and if one of you guys want to take it over, it's very regional based, and so meaning I can exist in my little pocket over here, Patrick can exist in a pocket over there, Art can... Anyways, there's a lot of potential, but tonight we start on a world building and character building session for Symbaroum, which is a very dark and awesome RPG. I think it's probably, from an aesthetic standpoint, my favorite RPG.
Nice.
I'm not talking about like mechanics and everything, but just the idea of how magic corrupts its users, how like the creatures that come out of the forest are it's just so unknown, and it's got this dark vibe to it all. Like it's not just like a bear out of the forest, it's like a mossy deathly moose coming out of the forest, which I also just got tattooed on myself recently. So all of those things.
Okay, given this information, Matt, top 5 emo bands, go.
Oh man. I don't know. I like, from an aesthetic standpoint, I cannot wait to play Symbaroum.
Yes. And I'm kind of interested to see how this goes for a couple of reasons. One, I've wanted to play Symbaroum for the longest time. Two, bizarrely, when I actually look back across the rotation, there haven't been that many games in it. And your typical RPG is like a fantasy game. And the only one who's really run that is you, Matt.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious to see, I know you fell hard for Pathfinder, but it's a different, it's your more traditional style fantasy RPG. And this Symbaroum, at least for my taste, my top 5 emo bands, go. It lines up way more closely with what I look for in a setting.
Yeah, I mean, the setting is dark, it's gritty, it's very... I'm just gonna say it. It's very Soulsy at parts. It is very Soulsy at parts.
That's the oh god. Oh. Can you say that again?
I just I'm still hung up on the fact that he was talking about seeding his small pocket. I'm really excited about that.
Oh yeah. We're gonna see lots of small pockets with
can't wait to spread my
good Soulsy content.
Does
and
it,
like
does
the world is just so rich. And so like we can really make it with whatever we want it to be, because when Free League came out with this game, they basically like, all right, here's this region that's been untouched by humans basically for the last 20 years, and all of this shit has gone wrong, and we can play with that or we cannot play with that. We're gonna get into that tonight, I promise, and I can't wait. But first, we have some business.
We do, yes. We have a little bit of trivia. Do you guys need me to throw one out there, or do you got something lined up?
Always.
All right, I'll throw it out there. So here we go. This is we'll start with a little bit of a deep cut. It's going to be sort of a two-parter. The first part's the deep cut, and it's not really meant to be. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So a big thing going around Hollywood these days is the idea of Nepo babies. And the original run of Twin Peaks was not immune from nepotism, a Nepo baby on set. So, first part of the question. This is the deep cut. Tell me who the character Pierre Tremont is. And a little hint. What famous thing did he hold in his hands?
Oh, it's the P-Boy.
That's right. It's creamed corn, I think, right?
Creamed corn.
Yes.
Damn it, not peas. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it's the little boy.
I don't think Patrick's gotten to that part yet.
Isn't that in the first season?
It is in the first season, but it's beyond the second episode.
Hey, I made it through the whole first season.
Oh, do you remember? I think he's season 2. He's pretty weird. Do you remember a boy holding literally a mound of creamed corn in his hand?
Yes,
you can't forget it.
I do actually remember that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was about to say,
yeah. Season 1.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You're right. That's pretty hard to forget.
Yeah.
So now that you know who the boy is, in real life, how is he a Nepo baby?
Is he related to David Lynch? I don't think.
That's too easy. I don't know. Who's the sound guy for?
No, it's gotta be bigger than that.
Okay.
David Lynch's nephew, which really pissed off Art's friend, who is David Nephew's friend's nephew or something like that. Made him really jealous.
No, my recollection is that my friend's mom is David Lynch's cousin.
Yeah, so it made your friend really upset.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying it's David Lynch's nephew, and Patrick,
David Lynch wouldn't do that, would he?
I'm gonna say, I don't know, David Lynch's cousin's son. Second cousin, David Lynch.
Second cousin,
Mark Frost's son.
Okay, so we got Mark Frost's son and David Lynch's second cousin.
Yep.
The correct answer is he's David Lynch's son.
Oh.
The boy was played by Austin Jack Lynch, assuming my research is correct. And just imagine, oh my God, I get to go to work with Daddy today. Son, I'm going to need you to sit here in a 3-piece suit. And now I need you to hold out your hands. Daddy, what are you going to, oh my God. Oh my God. And that's what you do with Bring Your Son to Work Day. You make him hold creamed corn. And have him creep out millions of viewers. So that's what
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
But I always say that. Shit. That's anytime I hear the answer. Oh yeah, I think I knew that. But obviously I didn't because I got it fucking wrong.
I should know it.
And if you, at some point, it's been a while since I've seen the show, but if you go Google an image of the boy holding the corn, you're like, oh my God.
Is that going to be the...
looks like David Lynch.
Is that the thumbnail for this episode?
The thumbnails for this, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you ever see a picture of him, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, he looks not bizarrely, it's his son.
This is where you have a Windows 98 PowerPoint superimposed of that in, right? So
yes.
I have no idea how you edit the videos, so I'm sure you use PowerPoint.
Make a note of that, Art, at 7:43. Screen effect of spiral in
trickle fate.
rain creamed corn at 7:55.
Speaking of editing, I just realized I did something wrong on my end, so we're good.
Hey Matt, how's that episode of History on the Table coming?
Oh damn,
it's being edited.
It's for 3 months, man.
It's been a month. It's been a month and a half.
I'm sorry. Your other fans demand content. The content wagon, churn that sausage, baby. I don't know. I don't have any fans or content except my OnlyFans for my feet. So, what are we playing?
All right, we're playing Symbaroum, but we're actually not playing Symbaroum tonight. We're doing world building. So I have a here's what I want to do, and I've tried this, but Art, you brought up Pathfinder. When we played Pathfinder, we played out of the box, and it's hard to ask the players, what do you want out of we're doing this very scripted mission, and it's very much a dungeon crawl. I have a very clear idea in my head of the world and the story that we're gonna tell, but it's all open to what you guys want to do and what you guys want to get out of this game. So this is just going to be really the way I see this, and the way I've always wanted to do this is you guys just came over and we just cracked open a 2-liter Mountain Dew, and we're just talking about what do we want to even do. And I didn't have you guys make characters ahead of time. We're not even going to do the mechanics of character building tonight. We can talk about classes and all that stuff. My rule books are out in my car. I just realized that. So we're really not going to do any character building tonight. But my goal is to come up with a game that you guys want to play, in a world that you guys want to play, with a faction that you want to play, and relationships that you want to explore. And make it that. Now, I have some guidelines, of course, because I do have, like, this is the kind of story I want to play, but that's what I want to, like, get out of it. And so, like, chime in at any point, because, like, I want this to be our world. Like, we can do Symbaroum, or it can be our world. Or we can do most of Symbaroum, and this is our little pocket, or you know, whatever. And there's a massive, epic, 5 or 6 part Symbaroum campaign that we could just fuck around and explore.
Mm-hmm.
Or this can just be our own thing.
So I'll say this. I really like the world of Symbaroum as presented in the book.
Uh-huh.
So if we go, like, whatever we tweak it is whatever, but if we lean into the basic premise of it, if you don't know, the basic premise of it is there's the Devakar, this forest.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just massive in scope, and only the periphery is really at all, not even settled. That's too strong a word, but any presence of barbarians, elves, whatever, is just along the edge. Do I have this right? And then the deeper you go, it just becomes unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a quality to that I really get intrigued by. I'll say that.
So, Patrick, I want to hear your thoughts, but here's what I want to leave that premise intact.
Okay.
Where we're at is on the outskirts of this massive, really unexplored forest. And so, like, if you read the Symbaroum lore, like, the elves are still in the forest, they never went away, but there's this old ancient civilization from 200-something years ago or whatever that completely collapsed, and no one really knows what happened up there. And so there's all kinds of shit to explore. Now, how involved, I kind of have this idea about, like, we're not in a major city like that. Actually, I have a very specific place where I want us to be, as I've imagined it. That can change, but I want to leave intact that there's this portion of the world that is mysterious and unknown, and it's full of adventure, and it's really kind of cut off from anything like major. Like, there's ports way to the west, and there's these giant mountains off to the east, and there's trading posts in the south, and there's maybe more developed and more civilized area to the south. But this wilderness really, I think, sets up a nice and like a sandbox that you can do whatever the hell you want with.
Now, let me ask you, Matt, you said you have an idea of where you want us to start. Is it literally the town right on the edge of the forest that's mentioned in the, okay. Do you want to go into that a little bit just to set the scene so we can riff off of that? Or
set us a table, Matt. Just a little.
Okay. So the kind of guidelines I have in place is you two have joined some kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, some kind of faction, whether that's religion-based or just some kind of knighthood or some kind of service. But you are in a faction that has a well-built and well-established stronghold in the mountains to the southeast or to the east of Davakar. Meaning, and like, I imagine it, have either of you played Witcher 3? This is the image that I can't, or have you watched the Netflix Witcher?
Yes.
Okay, like, their stronghold in the mountains is very much what I have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking at Davakar, I'm thinking, like, if I go too far north, like, then I think we're too far into the woods.
Sure.
But, like, if you're looking at the map, which Art can maybe work in some magic here and, slide in the Symbaroum map, I'm sure he can.
Mark.
And then, like, I will point exactly to, like, New Breton, which is kind of like the southeast kind of deal. So, like, I imagine, like, a cold-ass, rock-solid fortress in the mountains on the furthest reaches of civilization.
So, Patrick, let me throw this out here.
Mm-hmm.
In the Book of Symbaroum, doesn't have to be this, but just this is something we could riff off of. There is a faction called the Church of Prios.
Okay.
Now, the Church of Prios is sort of like the main religious sect. If you had to create an analogy, I would say it's like Middle Ages Catholicism. It has like its church structure, but it's also got its Templar division.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of what it has, and again, we don't have to do this literally, but is something called the Twilight Friars, also called the Black Cloaks.
Ooh.
Okay.
They are the intelligence wing of the Church of Prios. Now, in the official canon, they have its main seat as a fortress in the mountains south of, it's called the Titans. So it's a little bit, it's not the mountain range you're talking about, Matt, but you just put it wherever you want.
Well, so, and just real quick, the Titans are where the Ambrians, they cross the Titans to flee their home, like to find a future in Symbaroum.
Right. So, but we could, if you wanted it further to the east, you can just put it wherever, but it sort of has built in this idea that it's a sect within a sect that sort of operates on its own plane, so to speak. And they have like a separate HQ that is literally like a fortress in the mountains. Now, I don't know if the religious part or the spy part or any of that is intriguing, but
yes, I mean religious spies, that's all good with me. Like, you know, it's harking back to some Dave's Vault. It's getting us some you know, we get to bring in some spy shit from Mithras. Like, I love a melting pot. So you know, Knights Hospitalier or whatever, like, or whatever they are.
L'Hospitalier or whatever.
Right. Like, or the Order of Lazarus kind of thing, you know, like I'm down for that. Like, that sounds pretty cool.
So, and I'm totally down with this. Based off my understanding, if you're an Ambrian, you believe in the Queen, and you worship Prios. And if you don't do that, you're fucking evil.
Yeah.
And you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
And I think that's fine. Like, I love that. I love that. So, like, I think if you belong to this faction, you're probably along those kinds of line. Like, you guys are gonna be a little bit of assholes, right?
Hey,
because you see everyone else who.
Yeah, I mean, that's our riff, right? Like, I'm good with that.
So let me, and are we like not? I mean, you know, Patrick, you specifically mentioned, you know, the games Days of Vault that we've played. That's very much. Is it too similar? I mean, Matt, were you hoping for it to be something different?
The Black Cloaks actually work really well with kind of what I have in mind. The deal is, well, Patrick, you go, because I have an idea of how entrenched I want this faction to be. Meaning, if we were if you were like the Templars of the Church of Prios, I probably would be like, that's too big of a deal.
Sure.
Now, being the Black Cloaks, we'd probably downplay them a little bit. Meaning, like, they can't be a pillar of Ambrian society.
The way you do that is you fast forward or you rewind the clocks, right? You just say, hey, this is, maybe they were maybe not just founded, but maybe this order is not as ancient, and, you know, maybe they're rebuilding or something, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole shtick with Symbaroum, right? Like, or Symbaroum, like, but I think you could, you know, you don't have to take the time period that the game books are set in stone. Like, why not just fast forward? Maybe we came across the mountains 20 years ago, you know, and this is like, oh, the Black Cloaks are getting founded. I'm going to call them the Twilight Friars because that's way cooler than Black Cloaks. So of the two names, sorry, that's just way cooler. So, you know, if the Black Cloaks are just founded, or maybe this outpost is just an extension, like, you know, that gives you a little bit of play. You know, you're not going to be a like known entity, right? Even if you have a built up Castle of Solitude or Fortress of Solitude, right? I don't know. I came in with very little, intentionally, because I knew you wanted to do this and do kind of the world building stuff. Like, I think I read through it once, like 2 months ago. Like, so I remember Pyros, I remember or Prios, I remember the woods, I kind of vaguely remember the map, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, try to be a little bit more blank slate-ish.
Well, the way I see the church, and because this is something you would definitely know, they're very exquisitorial from the world of 40K.
Yeah,
meaning they're very much witch hunters. They're very much burn the heretics.
Which is
now I think a lot of that is explored in the big campaign, which we don't really need to touch on, and I'm not even convinced that I want to touch on it yet. Like I want to I think I'm going to live and breathe here before I tie us into that. Like I want to make my own thing. But that to me is what this faction maybe sounds like. If you guys want to be that faction, absolutely. If you want to be something different or a little offshoot and maybe a little less like Burn the Witches, I'm fine with that too. That's kind of how I see them.
The most interesting factions in Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40K are the Inquisitors and the kind of scummy agents of the big power players, right? Or the witch hunters and the warrior priests. I love that in fantasy. I'm here for that.
Cool. I think Magic is, whether either of you play a Magic user or not, I think it's such an impressive element of this game. Like the whole Magic system and the corruption of your shadow. I love it. I can't wait to explore that some more. So are we leaning towards Twilight Friars?
You down with that, Patrick?
I'm down.
I mean, as a Deus Vult, again, the role-playing game.
As an alumni of the Deus Vult.
Yeah, I really like that setting in that RPG, and this obviously hints of it a little bit. So a sort of secret faction within a faction. I like that.
Yep. Like an onion.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good amount about the Twilight Friars in the books. How, let me ask you guys this. Do you want your outpost to be the Twilight Friars outpost? Or do you want it to be oh, you guys are the advance guard? Yeah, the Twilight Friars are based here in the Titans, but you guys are even further out.
I think the latter of those two. I think in order to, not that we would be caged in by anything, if we're trying to make this our own universe to live in, and we're going to be, level 1 characters. We shouldn't be posted up at the damn HQ being told to go out and do, I don't want to be. I can't remember, Art, if it was you and your Lord of the Rings solo stuff where you're that's the biggest thing that always gets you. It's Gandalf came and found me and told me that as thou shalt go and do this.
Right. I was just having lunch with Gandalf, and he mentioned to me. Just okay.
No, we need Tim the level 3 friar to be hey guys, go kill the rats in the cellar. I don't know, start small. I always like to start small.
And I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Don't lose your thought, Art, because the way I see it is your characters are very much Jon Snow when he goes to the wall. That first, maybe you're capable to a certain extent, meaning you're gonna have combat skill just by the character you design.
Sure.
But you're also gonna be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You guys, those are my limitations. You guys are gonna play young characters here.
Okay.
Okay.
Male, female, combat, magic, I don't care, but you are new in this order.
Okay.
Art, what was your thought before I cut in there?
Just that I think, Patrick, when you picked the latter, I think that fits thematically with what the setting's trying to do, with the idea that, the crux of the setting is this being on the edge between civilization and, so the further we are from home base, the more I think it fits.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to play a game where we're in the thick of the intrigue at the main HQ, we should probably just go back and play Pathfinder, right? I'm sure there's
the campaign or something.
Right. I'm sure there's a game in this that takes that, or mechanics in there that takes that, but not the setting we're looking for with this, I don't think.
Yeah. I want you guys to feel isolated. I want you guys to feel at risk the entire time. Like, I know you guys created a lot of your own risk in Pathfinder by die rolls.
Ride that
or
statue.
Tactics like riding a
mermaid statue. It's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I want like this world to feel dangerous and you guys not to feel like, oh well, we just have this giant like brotherhood right behind us. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you guys are part of the Monastery of the Twilight Friars. Do we want to like, are we good with that, or do you want like your own little subsect? You know, your sect within the sect, and you're a subsect of that sect. You want to come up with a name with it? We don't have to. Do you have a specific mission other than the overall objectives of the Twilight Friars?
So, let's see. If I'm gonna, riff again more on this faction stuff that I was reading last night.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the history of, and again, it doesn't have to be literally this, but there was something I thought that was interesting to the idea. Part of the history is the idea that there's talk of, in the past, there was something called the Iron Pact. Now, the Iron Pact was sort of like, I think like it's something that the elves speak of, but what exactly it was and what the function was is highly debatable. According to legends told at the taverns, the elf wardens of Davokar claimed the humans consented to leave the forest in their care and swore never to set foot in Davokar again. Now, I don't care about that particular detail, but the idea that maybe there is something, because this game is about exploration, an ancient civilization in the forest, whatever it is, maybe there's something that's threatening the church. And so our mission is, should we choose to accept it, is trying to uncover this this whatever.
Yeah, whatever this corruption is, whatever this darkness is, whatever.
Yeah, this ancient bit of history that, much like a Dan Brown novel,
Sure.
it's still, people are still getting killed in the Sistine Chapel today because of something from 2,000 years ago. But, that idea that there's still this pervasive threat to the church because of this whatever that we're sort of tracking down.
Yeah, I think our purpose shouldn't be, it's not for the good of humanity or good of the kingdom. It's for the good of the church. Like, I think that's a very important distinction, that like our order, I think, is a cool thing to explore. Like, maybe we're not, people don't like the Witchers, right? To pull on that, like, you don't look forward to them coming to your town.
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
Yeah, that's not, you're like, oh shit, like the Twilight Friars are here. Like, no, there's no room at the inn, sir. Like, please move on. Like, yeah, like, and we're seeking out the enemies of the church. Not, again, you want salvation, go talk to the actual church. You want other, you want to go conquer lands or reconquer lands, go talk to the Templars. We're just here to clean up house for the church.
You purge the corruption, and that doesn't always,
it's not pretty.
People don't always need saving necessarily, but it's for the good of the church.
Right.
Yeah, and that could give us a reason to have to go explore, find ancient ruins, uncover like hidden cults, or it gives us a reason to seek out conspiracies, whatever it is that we're hunting down.
Very Assassin's Creed Templars and Assassins kind of thing. Like, again, not for the betterment of humanity as a whole, better for the order, or vice versa. So that's cool.
Nice. Okay. I love this. This is and the draw to the Witchers one I didn't even think of. Like, again, like, I love this idea. Like, yeah, you guys might be respected and feared, but man, people don't like you.
Yeah, I think awesome. we're a burden on. Or like, what did I just watch not the other day, but like, I can't remember if it was the Castlevania stuff. Like, nobody looks forward to the vampire people coming. Like, I don't know, know if that was Castlevania. It might be Monster Hunter. I don't know. Anyway,
Sex in the City too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Let me ask you.
It was Paddington. So
right. Let me ask you a question. So, I don't care either way. So do people know who we are when we show up in town, or are we?
Are we obvious? Are we wearing black cloaks?
Right. That's the thing. Are we? Exactly. Do we have the matching bowling jackets that announce who we are when we?
Right. Like, I think we have to. Like, if we're gonna do this, we should just lean into it, right? Like, again, they've got the silver hair and the creepy eyes. Like, oh, here they come. Like, here comes trouble, which is a whole nother layer of interesting social dynamics and things that we'll have to deal with. Is how do we convince people that, like, yes, we're here to, we need your help, not because you want to help us, but you're going to anyway. So
it's going to be the most backgroundy dungeon crawl. No, I'm kidding.
Can't wait to kill rats in the cellar.
Yeah, right. We're gonna fucking like go on.
Hello, adventurer. I need you to kill. Find the fish. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
Right? Yeah. Just fucking put you on the fucking amazing.
It's gonna be what was her name again?
Tamily.
Yeah, Tamily is gonna be the head of the that's it. She's the head of the Twilight Friars.
A fire burns in the great hall. Your brothers and sisters gather round. Everyone kneels. A great figure steps in front of you. Well, hi there.
You were
officially either a B. Was she a B tier NPC?
Tamily?
Yeah, we have a ranking.
Tier system back.
Tamily's
A tier, man.
She was A tier.
How we played Tamily is A tier. The fact that she was just fucking ripping off these old fucking psych detectives is like S tier.
So good.
She got them
Tamily
killed.
V1. She did. She totally got
a
those
murderer.
Guys. Fucking amazing.
Actually, manslaughter and elf slaughter.
Fucking psych detectives was such a good idea for
so good.
For
so short-lived
fantasy role-playing game. All right, scrap it all. So this is Grim Dark Psych.
Perfect.
I'm 100.
Nice. I fucking love it. I also just found the image. I'll post it over in our Discord, by the way, if you want to come chat with us and contribute to our world building. We're open to ideas. You can join our Discord. There's a link down the show notes. I just posted this over there. The Monastery of the Twilight Friars is exactly where I imagine you guys be. Now, on a much smaller scale. Like that thing looks fucking invincible.
Yeah.
And I love it. A brief aside.
Mm-hmm.
Some inspiration I'm getting from this. I'm not sure how we're gonna work it in. Have you guys ever read any of David Gimmel's stuff? David Gimmel. It was like the Gimmel Awards. Okay. I've gone back to them recently, but there's this book called Legend. And it's the best siege book I've ever read. It is fantastic fantasy.
Siege book. Okay.
Highly recommend it. And I kind of want to borrow some tropes from that, but if we ever get to that point. So, all right. We're going to be part of the Monastery of the Twilight Friars. And we can get into like what your uniforms look like and all that stuff.
Right.
One thing I kind of want to play around with is I want to bring this stronghold to life. I also want it to be like a living and breathing stronghold. Meaning, like, I've always liked the idea of base mechanics and stuff. I don't know if we need to go that far, but I want this to be a place that you guys can expand and build and have connections to. And some of those may come about organically. Like, you may really get close with Tamily or whatever, But I think just as an idea, and maybe I don't have to have one until the end of the session or anything like that, once you know what your character is, but I like the idea that each of you has one important character in the faction. It doesn't have to be like a mentor. It can be a fucking arch rival or something like that, but someone that is important to your character's drives and motivations in that's at this stronghold. It can't be like someone from the actual monastery or anything like that. And you guys can chew on those if you want to kind of talk about the types of, or we can like chew on those and we can move into the types of characters you want to play. We can flesh out more faction stuff, or what are you guys thinking?
What's the name of this place? Do you have a name, or do you want us to come up with a name?
I do not have a name. I do not have a name.
No, I like names. We should come. I know that's such a minor thing. It's not, but it's in the grand scheme of world building. Like, I don't know. It helps me evoke. So, Art, you got any?
No, sorry. I was just thinking of the connection, the person in the area. But you're right. We should have a name for it. Trying to think.
Yeah. Now we all look around our room for inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think. Have you guys ever heard of or read or seen the movie The Name of the Rose? Just to sound like a douchebag, one of my all-time favorite novels, one of the best murder mysteries I've ever read. Takes place in an Italian monastery in the mountains in the year like 1300, 1400.
All right.
I was trying to remember.
Adding it to Goodreads.
It's
Name of the Rose?
The Name of the Rose.
I have it added to Goodreads from the last time you brought it up.
By Umberto
Is
Eco.
the movie any good?
The movie is pretty good, but they give away something that the book doesn't give away, and it makes the murder mystery weaker, I think. But I will say the book can be dense at times because it is, they have like religious debates and stuff like that.
Sure. Sweet.
But oh god, it's in my mind one of the best murder mysteries ever. What do they call it? It's called Kloster Eberbach. So I think the idea, like calling it a kloster, or I think that's the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah, I like the idea of like if the monastery, which is fucking massive, the more and more I look at this picture, if the monastery is this big ass structure, then I think it'd be cool to like something related to that. And like if kloster's it, I'm cool with that. What do you think, Patrick?
I like it.
So it'd be kloster something, and I'm trying to kloster. What?
Kloster Umberhold. Kloster Umberhold.
Yeah, perfect.
And is it Kloster?
Yes, Kloster is I think in the Name of the Rose it was Kloster Emberbach. If I'm Googling this correctly.
Okay. So here's another just baseline question. Are we...
Oh, the movie was filmed at Kloster Eberbach. That's what it was. That's in Germany.
No.
No shit, really?
Kloster with a
Emberbach?
Emberbach. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I picture that right on the Gulf of Lyon. Like, it's right there next to Toulouse. Toulon. It's down from the Monegasques. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yes. Fucking next to Dover. Yeah. Right.
Kloster. What was the second name?
Umberhold. Umberhold.
Got it.
Because there has to be a T.
Nice.
I think that we are going to be talking like this in this RPG art. Will we be talking? Yes, I am Inquisitor. I am High Priest.
Okay.
Hawk.
Peace. Nice. I like that. Okay. Kloster Umberhold.
Nice.
And we're gonna be on the mountains, like up against the forest. So yeah, you guys. So Kloster Umberhold, a small kind of advance guard of the monastery of the Twilight Friars, who are essentially witch hunters, I should say. that work for the Church of Prios, and you guys are a subsect that is, I don't know, maybe your original mission is like rooted in the original Iron Pact, but it's been like you guys, or at least the church doesn't see it as perverted, but like now it's just like turned into this kind of like witch burning, corruption purging for the good of the church, not for the good of the pact made hundreds of years ago.
Right.
Patrick,
Nice.
you seem...
No, I'm enjoying this.
Okay,
this is good.
I'm just making sure I'm
good.
getting it right.
No, I'm stewing. I'm stewing on things.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
I think all of the ranks should be like unsettlingly low ranking name titles. Like, you know, the High Magistrate lives up in of Pyros lives up in the main city, but like the big head honcho of Umberhold is just like Friar. Like, but everybody knows is, oh shit, the Friar's coming. Like, I don't know, that's another minor detail that's like, it feels like, you know, everybody should be like under brother or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I like it.
I get sucked into the
No,
details.
I love it. I love it. Because I mean, I gotta give some of these people some character names, and
now you just go to a German name generator and you got
well, no, I mean,
all
well, yeah,
the
that's
names.
easy, but like giving them like Friar and like having a ranking system isn't exactly what I've had in mind. So
Nice.
nice. Okay.
I don't care about any of this. I'm just going to be a
the
human
high
fighter.
seneschal.
So, well, Art, since you mentioned it, let's talk about the like types of classes you want to be. We're gonna use all the books we can.
Yes.
So
good.
some of the class structure has changed with the advanced rules. Like Hunter has now been like broken off into be like different things. So, I mean, go crazy. But do either of you have kind of an idea for the type of character you want to play, or anything like that? And let me get into...
Definitely not a magic user. Well, see, I'm not usually a magic user kind of guy, but this game does do it interestingly, where
It does.
you were describing the magic corrupts you and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but everyone's shadow can be corrupted, right? I mean, like,
That's true.
Right. It's just magic users are playing this interesting game of weighing that corruption and how they use their magic, right?
Right. That's true. It's true. I don't know, Patrick, did you have some general ballpark in mind?
I'm digging through the books now. I know that there were some really cool ones the last time I looked.
I love the classes. Here,
Oh,
let me
they're
just
so good.
let me pull the thing up and I'll got my stuff in.
Man, I know that there was a witch hunter.
Oh yeah,
There is.
there totally is.
I mean,
I'm a thug. Just a thug.
just a straight thug. Straight thug in it.
It's been so long since I've gotten to Foundry in this Foundry module.
So yeah, and you were Advanced Player's Guide. That's up for grabs too.
Absolutely.
I'm nervous about. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Go balls to the wall. Like,
so when we initially talked,
And when I say classes, a good reminder for people who aren't familiar with the game, it's archetype.
right? So yeah, initially when we hadn't kicked around all these ideas, I was looking at the actual Templar, which is a type of warrior, but I don't want to do that because that's not what this is. There are Templars in the church, and that's a separate sect. So I want to do it a little differently. But I gotta say, like, in my head, I'm leaning toward
In my head.
emo rock.
Is the Cranberries emo rock? I don't think so.
Are they emo? No.
are they?
No, they weren't really. I mean, they had some edge to them, but it wasn't like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like the ones that jump out at me are like Bounty Hunter, Monster Hunter, Rogue, Ranger. Sort of the ones I could. What's a Wrath Guard? It's the ones I could sort of picture being a little more on your own, a little more comfortable out in the woods. Weapons master.
Shit, I thought I had the advanced players.
The Wrathguard seems like a barbarian.
It does. But they I think aren't they like clan guys though? Like I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but
right.
Duelist, don't want to be a duelist. We saw how that worked out. The captain. Yeah.
I do want to I do like that there's this, and it gets broken down even further in the advanced player's guide. I can't pull it up for some reason right now, and like I said, my rule books are in the car. But with the 3 archetypes, and then you go further into that. So your warrior, mystic, rogue. I think rogue splits into hunter in the advanced player guide. Is that you have it right in front of you, right?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
And then they add all these layers, so you can you start off with I want a warrior build, and then it really lets you hone into I'm gonna be a warrior. I'm gonna play a barbarian, or I'm gonna play a Templar or whatever. There's different customization and a little flavor for your character, and I really like it. I've only played this once.
Oh, you got a chance? Oh, that's nice. Cool.
Yeah, I was a barbarian, or I was a berserker, not a barbarian.
Oh, nice. Oh, there's Theurge, which is sort of, I mean, we could be like a priest.
That's the other one I was kind of thinking. Is that in Advanced Player's Guide?
That's a regular. Yeah.
Is it in the Mystics? It's got to be in the Mystics, right?
It's in the Mystics, yep.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Art, even if this is a pain in the ass to clean up, I'm going to turn my mic off real quick. I'm going to run out to the car.
Okay.
I really want to get the Advanced Player's Art. I'm sorry I forgot it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Wish left his green screen.
Yeah, he should have
put
left
all sorts of filthy stuff on it.
Well, now we just have the option. I don't know, man. There's so many good classes in this. It's so.
Now that we've done all this work and Matt's not here, is it too Deus Volti for you, or are you digging it?
No, I'm digging it.
Okay.
I mean, had you said you wanted to go back and play more Deus Vult, I would have happily just said, yeah, let's go play more Deus Vult Savage World. Absolutely.
Actually, that's something interesting, because I want to bring it back, and I was trying to decide. It would be either one of two things. The England one, I'm going to reserve for what we were doing with the other group.
Yeah.
But I would either do it the traditional way, which takes place in France, or I would do it in Ireland at a slightly different time.
Okay, interesting.
But one of the things I was kind of curious. I was like, would they be curious to try it in its actual native system, or
I would play in France.
But would you play it Savage Worlds or in the D100 system that is native?
Oh, I gotcha.
Because Savage Worlds I thought was working.
I'm such a Savage Worlds slut.
I
love Savage Worlds. You're never gonna get me to not be excited to play Savage Worlds.
Yeah, so I would probably stay with Savage Worlds because I feel like that was really working. I just got I know at one point you talked about some Deadlands. Had we talked about I think it's Sidewinder? Basically, somebody made Savage Worlds straight Western.
Oh,
basically,
no.
Savage Worlds Tombstone. There's no zombies.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'll let you know what it. Yeah, I just got the Kickstarter stuff for the print-on-demand books and stuff like that.
That sounds hot. I'd be all over that. Matt, we've decided that we're gonna play Sidewinder instead.
We're gonna what?
We're gonna play Sidewinder instead.
Savage World Sidewinder, which is basically Deadlands but without the zombies.
Oh.
You can just pack it up.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I was just saying that
this has been great, but thank you, Matt. Your services are no longer required.
I was just saying that I got the Kickstarter stuff today to pick up my print-on-demand books.
I'm going to be really, really, really tempted. It's going to be really hard-pressed for me to play anything but a Witch Hunter.
Okay, you think you're leaning towards that?
I think. I mean, it says right there, I'd rather put an innocent in the dirt than have a blighted beast walk upon it.
So Deus Vult.
So Deus Vult, so our order, yeah. That's going to be pretty hard.
Nice. So that falls under a rogue, right?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
They're gonna be like cunning and I don't need to
Resolute, cunning, or accurate. Or resolute and then cunning or accurate. Then beast lore, marksman, ritualist, steadfast. And you should play a human.
Yeah, I guess that's a limitation. You guys are probably playing humans here.
That's fair.
Thank God.
Damn it, I wanted to be a tree person.
Okay, so given that then...
Man, there are so many cool...
Right?
Like, if we... Okay, so, like, the dream, right, is to keep playing this, and, like, we do this for a little bit, and then we switch, and if we sing Symbaroum, then it's like, fuck it, I want to be a damn troll singer. Like, I want to roleplay as the fucking troll singer. They're a mystic class, and that's amazing.
Rune crafters are awesome.
Oh my god,
that's such a cool... Yeah.
Like, the former cultist and shit, the sapper, oh my gosh, man, like... this book gets me so fucking horned up. Like, just the names of the classes inside the archetypes are so evocative. Like, the art is extremely evocative. It just, like, it draws so much out of me and presents a world I want to explore. And then you tell me that there's a fucking witch hunter involved or a fucking, you just name it, man. It's amazing. Some of the shit. And like, I would definitely when I get a chance to roll a character, I'm definitely going to fuck around with some type of mystic.
I mean, so we should do this one where we're witch hunters, and then we should have one, like, you know, the gold cloaks, Jesus, the black cloaks, the Twilight Friars. We definitely the follow up to this is I'm an artifact crafter troll, somebody's a runesmith troll, and Art, we force him to be also a troll, and we just play trolls.
Tattooed warriors.
Okay,
dude,
so
yeah, it would be cool to be like the people that the black cloaks
hunts. Yeah. So okay, Patrick, you're leaning towards witch hunter.
Either that or symbolist, because I just rolled up on symbolist, and that is damn cool too.
So what's that? Tell me a little bit about that.
So they use symbols and signs to make the most of mystical traditions. Pure symbolism is a tradition that is almost solely built on the power of symbols and sign. I paint and the world obeys. I do think that's a more... So it does suggest barbarians, goblins, and trolls. So I do think that is a Symbaroum round 2 class.
Yeah, but as a counterpoint...
Yes.
Doesn't the Imperium employ its own psychers?
Yes.
I mean, doesn't magic exist in the Imperium anyways? Like,
this is true.
You know, I'm just throwing it out there, meaning, like, I don't think anything's off limits here. If you fit it into the story, like, why are the Twilight Friars employing a symbolist?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not trying to talk you into it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but it's like, I think it works.
You know, maybe it's he's a disgusting outsider. But his faith or their faith in Pyros is so strong they abandoned their whatever ties, and now they use their barbarian magic to go hunt down. You know, what better to hunt down a dog than a dog, right? So I don't know. That's pretty cool. The art is also just...
Is that in the advanced player guide, or is that...
It is. It's on page 25 if you're interested, because it's the picture that got me. I stopped and was like, oh, that looks really cool. Like,
nice.
Yeah. See, but then I have the problem in my characters that I play. I'm like, yes, I'm going to play a field medic, or I'm going to play a psychic, or I'm going to play whatever else, and then I'm like, I want to go hit him with a fucking mace, like, so, like, it's just, that's a problem that I run into often.
Okay.
So I might just take it, let's just flip that on its head. I should just be a witch hunter and just burn people.
So many good options. Like, I oh man,
it's so hard. Like,
they're so good. I'm just flying at like full staff right now, just looking at these.
I'm gonna be a human warrior. No.
I mean, and there are some like treasure hunter, whatever. Don't care.
Well, I actually kind of like the treasure hunter one too. Like, I think
you're
I might,
wrong.
I could take or leave duelist. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. Like, what is this, Three Musketeers bullshit? Like, fuck that.
I also love like the witch itself.
Right.
Just like being in tune with nature and like, yeah.
Okay, so sorry, is it not to officially lock it in, but are you leaning more toward the
Well, I have no idea. It's going to take me at least another 10 minutes of
Okay.
back and forth.
So Patrick, you're at least, you could be torn between more, but at least
I'm down
there's
to
two front runners.
Two front runners, yes.
Okay, one being a rogue archetype, one being a mystic archetype. Don't forget, Art, we now have the new archetype, the hunter archetype. Art, what are you leaning towards?
Okay, so if Patrick goes witch hunter, I'm gonna go human fighter. And if he goes
Stop it, I know what you're gonna say.
The other one is a human fighter. No. If he goes witch hunter, I actually might lean towards Theurge.
Oh.
Nice. Oh.
So if you go witch hunter, I might go like priest.
And that's
if
all
you
I
go
sees the heretic.
Right. Now, what was the other one? If you go more the mystical route, what was the other one you're looking at?
The symbolist. You have to be you have to be my keeper at that point.
Right. If you go that way, I'm gonna either be like a ranger or something a little more
Templar.
Right. I'm your Watson with the guns, you know.
Right.
An Ironsworn keeping this corruptive magic in check, because like an Ironsworn's a little bit rangerous, right?
Yeah.
But like you could take that and be
So if all I can picture, and I know this isn't the setting for it, but my introduction to all of these hobbies that I have is 40K, but my formative years were spent with Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition.
Okay.
And almost all of that is the picture on every cover, and like the one that I was always frothing at the mouth for is you've got the warrior priest of Sigmar with his hammer, and then the witch hunter standing next to him with his pistol and torch and the big wide brim hat. And I'm like, it's such a good, I love that. I'm gonna have to be a witch hunter.
Okay.
I think, but the symbolist is so cool.
It's a cool concept.
We have to play this game more. Someone's got to run this for me. Like, it's just the fact of the matter. Like, I want to make 80 million characters, and you have to let me respec every session.
Go fuck yourself, Kingmaker.
Are you gonna run Kingmaker?
No, I thought you said
That's
you
what
would.
I heard.
But you know, one of the things we talked about, I think at some point I discussed that there was like this homebrew fantasy setting that I had been cooking up, and maybe I was saying this in the Discord, like just among us or whatever. But what I realized was that it was very Symbaroum in its vibe, and I was just like, oh shit, like we should just play Symbaroum because it's similar in some of the things I was cooking up setting wise. But so yeah, I mean, when the time comes, like I'm gonna run something like it. And it would be a different part of the world or whatever.
I was gonna say, so it's just gonna be another part of the world, and we're gonna keep playing Symbaroum, is what it sounds like.
That's so. Yeah, I want to see, because the rules have a lot of what else.
But you even talked about like Thistlehold is like kind of like what you would imagine, anyways, like this thing on the verge of the wilderness, right?
Right.
I doubt we will not touch Thistlehold. I'm gonna promise you that right now.
Right. So yeah, in my setting, you arrive upon a new continent, and there is a singular tiny, and I described it like Jamestown. It's on the brink of starvation and not succeeding. But it's that same idea. It's just a classic idea of like you're on the edge of something and you don't know what's out there.
When you guys inevitably party wipe,
yeah,
and you guys ruin your mission, then we can fast forward 5 years and like look what the world looks like now because these two assholes failed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, Art, what do you? I'm kicking the ball back to you. I have my two ones that I'm very interested in playing. Which of your two sounds more interesting to you? is I will happily play either of these things.
What sounds more interesting to me? That's an interesting question because I'm not.
Don't you dare kick it back to me.
No, I won't. I'll make a choice, but I will preface it by saying like the context I'm considering them in is not in isolation. It's
okay.
The pairings are like Witch Hunter Theurge seems like a really cool pairing.
Oh, it does. It does.
But I think the idea of the Symbalist is the credo of the Witch Hunter. I can see why it appeals to you, but the Symbalist feels like in terms of gameplay, it could be quite unique.
Yeah. Okay. Sold.
So I'm going to play a human fighter.
Fucking Templar.
No. I wouldn't play a Templar, but I might choose like a hunter.
That's way too exotic to play a Templar.
Yeah, please. I don't need all the bells and whistles.
Right.
I just need a two-handed axe. But I might go something like a rogue or a ranger. Something like I'm not going to be. Cool. Yeah, I'm a little emo, a little cranberry.
So cranberry.
Not emo. Of all your hot takes, I refuse to accept that one.
A little Wonderwall.
So emo. Anyway,
I gotta say those guys are kind of like bitch emo, right? The brothers. Anyway, so and the only reason why I think again, like I don't think we would have two priesty kind of people. I think, as like a Scully and Mulder, you have complementing skill set. So
right,
what would complement a Symbalist well?
What's that?
A Witch
Hunter fighter.
Oh no.
Well, a Witch Hunter. I mean, are they that different than like the Rangers and?
No, not really. I mean, no. So, but now Witch Hunters and Rangers are now hunters. Archetype instead of the rogue archetype.
Could be a monster hunter. Monster hunter and a sigilist.
So the trick with the Witch Hunter is like one of its appropriate abilities is beast lore. And I feel like this is part of the problem I have a little bit with the Ranger. I feel like we are more about lore, history, and people. Like
it's kind of Ironsworn there, aren't?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like we're not about like, the feces of this pile of shit is warm and it's only 2 days old and it tells me they went that way. I feel like we're more an intelligence gathering, mystery solving, psych.
I was about to say, so like psych.
Right. So that's the only problem. Like with the Witch Hunter, it feels like the Ranger, they feel like they're more woodsy animals.
So be a bounty hunter.
That's the thing. Like bounty hunter is the vibe.
Yeah.
We go back to the.
Yeah, because that's pretty. You're gonna be going after the people side of things with bounty hunter more, right? Makes sense,
right?
So fuck it, we're gonna pay Matt. We're gonna play a pair of treasure hunters.
It's just like everything's so cool. It's just like treasure hunter.
Oh yeah,
which is cool in its own right, but it's just like
that and Charlton. Like
it does not horn.
Yeah, I could see like Ironsworn has like. Well, it says required abilities beast lore, but maybe it could be something.
Yeah, but I don't know because it's also an ore, so I don't.
Right. It could be lore master, marksman, like those kinds of things. Like lore master, right. I could see.
Well, I'm curious then. Oh my gosh, fucking.
You could
sapper. I'd play the shit out of a fucking sapper.
But Art, if you play a bounty hunter, you can know bushcraft.
I like how you say that.
Bush.
So wait a minute. The Symbalist, that often is like a barbarian clan, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, but that's okay still. Like, I think we can still work it in. Often it is, but, or were you going somewhere with that?
No. Yeah, I was. Because the other thing is like a Wrathguard. So the suggested race is a barbarian, but the reason why I was saying that is like, why would, and you're saying it takes a dog to hunt a dog, but you could also be like, you know, we were captured and assimilated. You know, there's all these types of things that we could come up with in terms of why barbarians would be here.
So let's just pause right there before you guys pick. Like, is that the time? Like, okay, so why are your characters in this? And you tell me if you want to pick the type of character you are first, that's fine. Or does it help to say, why are we here? Or are we barbarians that got recruited and like drank the Kool-Aid and have worked our way up? Like we were young barbarians. I don't know. Or are you Ambrians and you've?
I was about to say, I don't think I want. Yeah, let me just be 40s. I'm gonna go talk into the microphone from my bedroom. Like, I think I want to be an Ambrian. Like,
yeah,
I think
same.
I think, like, you know, maybe the Kool-Aid that was drunk was, oh, we have to fight fire with fire. Like, you know, we have their blood hides or whatever from the barbarians to be like, oh yes, this is how you do this. And you know, I just have a proclivity for it. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you know, fuck all them noise. Like, we're gonna hunt them down with their own, you know, like Jedi and Sith or Inquisitors, right? Like, you know, like you use fallen Jedi to hunt down Jedi, right? Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just watched another episode of Star Wars stuff. So, kinda...
Which one?
I watched the Kenobi Darth Vader fight in Kenobi, which I just, you know, it's so good.
Someday I'm going to assign homework of a couple of episodes of Andor when I run a Star Wars.
I need to watch Andor. So.
I haven't watched Andor either.
It's
might be some of the best Star Wars ever made.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, Rogue One was some of the best Star Wars ever made. So
good.
Yeah, and this is even better.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it's shocking. Like, even if you like, it's genuinely like, especially like in, well, I won't get into that, but it's genuinely, it's part of like, how does the rebellion, get going?
Yeah.
Looking at my space books real quick. Are we just gonna? Should we change system?
Can it? Let's go.
Art. Just throw this out there. All right. So if you like the idea of the Wrathguard, you know, like the Wrathguard to me is a little like barbarian 5e-esque.
Perfect.
It's happening.
So couldn't you? But like they're filled with like this fury and rage, right? Like, couldn't, instead of being this like barbarian based, instead of class barbarian race based rage, like, couldn't you be a Wrathguard that's just like filled with holy piss and vinegar? Like, you're just like, when you rage, it's like because you're so fucking devout and you're like, you're just filled with holy martyrdom. I'm just like thinking like, okay, how do you make a Wrathguard work in this?
I am really into Sunday school.
Yeah, exactly.
Motherfucker. I you know, not to deflect or whatever. I think actually looking it over, I like the bounty hunter. If you go with the symbolist, I'm digging what the bounty hunter's putting out there.
And so maybe, and like the other thing we can kind of like, the bounty hunter is the class name. You don't necessarily have to be like, I'm the camp's bounty hunter.
If you don't have a bloodhound, I will be upset.
What's that?
I said one of the boons it calls out specifically that you can have is a bloodhound. And so if you don't have
I'm a sucker for those classes.
I was about to say, if you don't have a fucking dog to hunt with the dog, other dogs, like, while eating a Costco dog, like, I'm sorry, I'm derailing us again.
So I just think, and I don't want, again, I'm not trying to talk you out of this by any means, but like, I think we just got to come up with the way, just like we did with Patrick, how does the bounty hunter fit in the frame of the Twilight Friars?
Right. So I think in my head, the bounty hunter, like you were sort of, I think, hinting out, it's not a literal bounty hunter. It's more of a, how would I do this? I want them to have like God damn it, is this just a witch hunter now?
Well, why can't you be the like
I was trying to think of what exactly is my role.
Right.
And so
But why couldn't it be like hunting and gathering?
What I think it is it's the idea of finding people, because we're trying to track down threats to the church. And so who's the one that sort of knows people? I thought I was looking at one where the boon was like, what I want to be is more like a fixer. Where like, you know, I can make contacts, but I can also like, if we're trying to find somebody who's hiding from us, you know, I can track them down as well. That's the bounty hunter part that was, you know, if we're looking for somebody that's a threat to the church, I can.
Sounds
is
like
that a guild thief?
I can detective them.
I'm just in terms of like the contacts and stuff, or a gentleman thief.
That sounds so lame though.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Lupin. Steadfast. Man, thought I had this.
But I mean, hold on. So like, because we don't have to pick exactly to 9. I think the roles that you guys have kind of identified yourself, and Patrick, you summed yours up perfectly. You're the dog that hunts the dog. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're the fixer, and
you're my handler.
Yeah, you have the contacts. You're the handler. Am I misstating that?
No, that's sort of how I pictured it.
Yeah. So whatever class we make works with that. Like, we'll find one of these, right? Like, something will work.
Yeah.
And we'll get it there. So I think those are your roles. And also, remember, your roles may not be as clearly defined. Like, Patrick, you're coming in as a level 1 symbolist.
Right.
You know, and same thing, Art. Like, Art, you're not going to have connections all across fucking Davokar or anything like that.
No.
Like, you guys are new recruits.
Yeah.
You should be a thug. That's what you're going to do. You're going to be a thug. This is where we're all heading. Quick, cunning, poisoner, strangler, twin attack.
Here's the thing, though. Witch Hunter, like, appropriate abilities is Beast Lore, but it doesn't have to be Beast Lore.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the Witch Hunter is the sort of basic general starting point. And then I go from there.
Do it.
Yeah. I'll lean towards that for now, yeah.
Okay. Nice. I love the idea of a witch hunter working with a witch, essentially.
The witch.
Yeah.
Like, you can just fucking see it, right? Like, you're both new recruits, you're a fucking witch hunter, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, maybe you've been tucked away at the fucking monastery, or you've been in the church, or like you just, I don't know, like these are things like we gotta think about, like your origin story, and like you're like now in this outpost, and you're like, you form up for like the first general assembly, and you look over, and the guy next to you is a fucking
symbols.
Yeah.
No, you know what we fucking are. You know what this is. We're the sect of the sect of the sect. We're the fucking BPRD of
yeah, buddy.
It's all full circle. It's full circle.
Fuck too.
We're the fucking BPRD of the gold cloaks of the Church of Pyros.
Amazing. It's fucking amazing. Art's Googling BPRD real quick.
Yes.
I'm the Abe Sapien to your Hellboy.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Or more better, I don't know if Abe's like dark enough to be a.
No, he's not. He's not.
Oh my god, what's her name?
Yeah, the fire chick.
Oh my god, what's her name?
Lucy, isn't it, or something like that?
I can't believe like that's what you are. Oh, we have
favorite.
a little love interest brewing here too. All right. So I think we have like character shells built.
Okay.
And then like you guys can decide, and we don't have to decide tonight. Do you know each other? Are you meeting, as new recruits for the first time? All of that stuff you can work out between the next session. We'll get full on character introductions, descriptions of your character, what they're like, their personalities. I'm a big fan of, at least in theory, having the knives, the different things that I can twist and pull. So other relations outside of the Twilight Friars. Are there other people that are important to your character? I want you to be thinking of those things. I do want to go back to the relationships within the cluster.
Okay.
And do either of you have any idea for someone that's important to you in the Friars?
Yes.
Oh,
go ahead, Patrick.
Both have one.
So I really liked the even though I said Ambrian, I think I am circling back to the barbarian orphan thing, right?
Okay.
And so maybe I like the idea of my relation being my keeper, basically, the one who kept me hidden away in the cluster. Not hidden away, but like, not quite my jailer, but the like, oh, you live in that ward of that wing of the outpost of the cluster, and like this maester was the one who taught me and like raised me up, taught me all of the proper praised me to Pyros, kind of thing. I don't know, just spitball.
Nice. All right, so flush him out between now and next time. I've got the idea of it, but names and all that stuff. Kind of your keeper. Maybe he was like the orphan master or something. Like if you end up being an orphan, I'm not saying you have to, but like if you end up being an orphan, then like he's the orphan master. He's he oversees the dorms and all that stuff.
I'm not going to be an orphan. I think I was stolen. I think I have family out with my clan elsewhere.
Okay.
But this is like, they're stealing the children to raise them to go hunt their family kind of thing. Like, we're going to get dark, boys.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's still, regardless, this person is still the person who, like, okay, when you first came in, like, he fed you. But, like,
right.
you were, like, kept at a distance, right? And probably gruesomely, like, kept in a cell or something like that.
Right.
And eventually you're brought in, and he's the one that's teaching you the base beliefs. And he's to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like he's the one that indoctrinates you.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a fatherly relationship. This is not a good relationship. But in the own twisted version of this, it is like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to do whatever Maester Ringgold says, like, and that's what I'm going to go with, Maester Ringgold. Like that's his, like, yes, of course I'm going to do, like, whatever he says. Yes, he fed me.
Yeah, he's not so much a father figure as he's your, like, sole authority. I mean, there's lots of authoritarian figures in the cluster, but he's like your. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Maester Ringgold.
Maester Ringgold.
Maester.
Hello, Maester.
All right, Art.
So mine is called Molly Ringwald. It's a little spin on what you were working with, Patrick.
Just a twist. Just
to put my own thing on it. So mine is
and she just keeps showing up and shows that she has no right being in.
So I'm Ambrian, and say like I'm the third son of a family.
Yep.
The one that gets given to the church. And so,
an orphan stolen from his parents
by Molly Ringwald. No, so and so there is another. I don't want to say I'm like highborn or anything like that, but I'll say maybe also in this sect is a highborn from my sort of general area.
You're Jimmy Blizzard, not to be confused with Jon Snow.
Right. Jimmy Blizzard, baby. Jimmy. But he sabotaged me during our initiations, our indoctrinations, whatever. But he, more of a rival. So maybe I was supposed to have a post. Maybe I was supposed to have like a more sort of slightly renowned starting point. And he cut the legs out from that.
He also keeps your left testicle on a chain.
Hey.
It's
a dark
right
world.
Why did he undercut you?
I
don't. You can think on it, but those are just things I'll want to know.
I think honestly it's because it was a little too much of a meritocracy, and he was like, no, that piece of lowborn shit doesn't deserve. I'm used to a certain structure here, and even though it doesn't apply, I'm going to enforce it in this little way.
Yeah, this guy deserves it. Like, this guy's worked hard for it, but he doesn't because he's a lowborn piece of shit.
I'm going to take it
knock
from
him
him
back down a few pegs.
Yeah.
Nice. What's his kind of position in the cloister?
I would say it's a little more like oh man, why am it's because I'm old. I can't remember words. It's like when a knight has the helper.
Squire?
The squire. I was picturing it sort of like a squire-y kind of position to maybe one of the sort of mid-tier higher-ups, if that makes sense.
He's a secretary.
He's a squire to the friar.
Okay, yeah.
A friar squire, if you will.
Go all the way. So yeah, it was that kind of idea. And so that could be interesting because then not only did he sabotage me from taking the position, but he sabotaged me in the eyes of the person that's at the head of the group.
Right. Nice. Very good. So we've already done like the faction and the HQ and stuff like that and kind of where it's going to be. I imagine just like a smaller scale version of the monastery. Like, I like that you're built into the stone face. You have this impenetrable stone fortress. I know we didn't get much into region or world building tonight, but the fact that like we're playing this sect of the church in Symbaroum, I don't think we need to. Meaning, like, I was going to be like, all right, what are the deities? What's the belief system? Like, we don't need to do that because for you guys, Prios is it.
Yeah, which I'm cool with because, again, like, I really genuinely like the setting that they introduce in the core rulebook.
Okay, so then what I would just tell you guys is, like, we don't need to do those things. Just know that we're going to, like, we'll be flexible with those things. The problem with when as good as it was with the Genesis is I wanted to capture every essence of everything. And like, oh, we have to do this. We did. I'm not trying to do that this time. Like, Symbaroum is this amazing world and I want to play in it. But if there's supposed to be a monastery 3 miles to the west and I move that monastery 60 miles to the east, I don't really give a shit. Cool.
We will play Genesis again, right?
God,
Sure.
I hope so.
Sure. As soon as one of you guys run it, we'll play it.
Along with Lancer, right?
Oh, fuck. Lancer and the Genesis, I just started thinking about, you want to talk about sweet-ass classes like the Genesis classes are.
This is, honestly, I'm feeling like I'm going back to my Cult of Anubis guy in that game. So.
Oh, yeah?
And
Oh, like this is kind of going back to it?
Yep.
I can see that a little bit.
Nice. Cool. What other questions or what other ideas do you guys have? I have one like more final one. Well, I want to make sure.
No, I think I'll just say this. We always really appreciate all the people that subscribe to the channel, jump into the Discord, things like that. What I don't know how to feel about it because there are people that jump in for specific things. People jumped in for Dragonbane, people jumped in for Pathfinder, and then we never go back to them ever again because we are so into so many different things. And having said that, I'm glad that this is finally getting its turn.
Yeah.
Because I've wanted this so much. Anyway, I don't have any other questions for this at the moment.
So here's and I think this is an important one, and from time to time I'll ask this. I used to ask it like every time we played the Outer Banks RPG. But as a bigger, broader thing here, what is one thing in particular that that you want to get out of this campaign we're about to play?
Avoiding lame pass the stick storytelling questions like no, not kidding. In my mind, it's exploration, lore of the world, and getting describing like there's the ruins, there's the ancient this, and if there's a way to tie that into our current present day mission. It's again not that I think Dan Brown is the epitome of English literature, but the idea of the conspiracies of the present are tied into the religious sects and history of 2,000 years ago. So exploring the lore is sort of, I guess, in my head.
Nice.
I'm easy when you give me these questions. I just want it to be dark. I want it to be. I need it to be atmospheric, right? Like this is pulling it's pull on my happy place, man. Again, Warhammer Fantasy. I know this ain't it, but it's pretty damn close. So, it's a sweet spot. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I want to get out of this. I want it to be, this isn't a happy story. There's no elves prancing in the woods. Like there are, but they're probably going to skin you alive and eat you. Like
if you see elves prancing in the woods, it's a like eldritch summoning ritual, and they're dancing in like a sex blood orgy.
Exactly.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
hold on. I need to write this down.
Orgy. I didn't catch the rest.
Orgy. Question mark. Question.
Orgy, and then I draw a tentacle below it.
Perfect.
That's my next tattoo.
Yeah. That's the initiation to the Black Cloaks, right?
Mom. Orgy tentacle.
Love it. Matching orgy tentacle tattoos. Win.
Will you get a matching orgy tentacle with me under the moonlight?
Well, fellas, I'm excited for this. So, a little bit of homework for you guys. I'll turn on the Foundry server is up and running. I think I've made everything like a drag and drop as you go through character creation, and I think I tested it where like it's visible. And I think that has all the advanced player items. It doesn't. There's not a drag and drop for Witch Hunter or Symbolist, but all the powers and the rituals and stuff, they should be visible. You can drag and drop them. It's a pretty good module. It's a little bare bones, not near as good as Pathfinder. But now that I know exactly what we're doing, I need to change my landing splash page and shit like that. So I'll get that set up. You guys will finish your characters. Again, backstory, but like things that I can manipulate and twist should they come up. That probably won't happen in the first adventure. The first adventure is going to be a little bit of a homebrew. And we're also going to play with... I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to start this. We might start a little bit on rails because I want to do like this kind of time manipulation. It's going to be... I have a very ambitious way to start this out. Okay. It's going to be awesome. So you guys work on those characters, flesh out any more details on your connections to Meister Ringgold and Molly Ringwald. Character backgrounds, descriptions, all that stuff. And then finish up the characters and shit like that.
Bradicus, Padicus.
I'm fucking psyched for this.
Yeah, this is going to be...
It's going to be really good.
Really good.
Well,
nice.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'm debating, the two skills. It's like, do you paint the symbols or do you carve them into your flesh? I think I know which way I need to go with that. There's a right and a wrong answer here.
O-R-G-Y.
No regrets.
Oh God, I gotta find a blank spot.
Good. Folks, if you're as excited for this, you should go join our Discord. There's a link down in the show notes. It's a really cool place to hang out. We just hang out and watch Art play video games, basically, is essentially what it is. It's pretty awesome. But I would love to, it would be really cool to get, any kind of community feedback on, the world or, our faction or characters that should exist in the cluster, because I want it to be this community that you guys, care about. So if you're like, oh, Matt, there should be a guy selling noodles at the noodle shop, tell me all about it. You can do that. Join our Discord down in the show notes. We're on Blue Sky, all that stuff. If you're watching this, don't forget we have a podcast version of all our shows. If you're listening to this, don't forget to go like and subscribe over on YouTube. I think that's everything.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Vote on Udon Joe to be the noodle shop cluster guy. And
nice.
Yeah. I'll let you, if we get enough content interactions, I'll let you decide what the tattoos are going to be that we carve into my sigilist's skin. And
did you ever watch, real quick, I know we're wrapping up, the anime where the guy had to break his fingers to get his powers, or the guy had to chain smoke?
He had to kill himself and hurt himself.
Darker Than Black. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I don't know if I watched it in its entirety, but I've seen clips of it, I think.
There's these people. It's a really good show. I really, really liked it. I should rewatch that. From what I remember, it's been a long time since I've watched it, is that they each have their own way to get their powers. And you saying you get to pick my tattoo is it is that to a T. Yeah, you get this power through symbolism, but you're at the whims of you don't control what you're carving on yourself. And it's a guy is constantly chain smoking and is gonna die, and he's paying the cost for it. One guy has to break the bones in his fingers. It's so good. Darker Than Black. Recommended.
But the answer is it's a dick and balls, right? That's what
right.
Right. I mean, it's always dick.
It's right here in the forehead.
It's just always.
Nice.
Like an anime RPG instead.
And D&D 5.5. Here we go.
I mean, that's the thing. If we cared about the metrics, we'd be getting those new rule books.
I did see the cover for the Monster Hunter, and I was like, fuck, that's slick. Because it's
it's pretty nice.
Anyways. But we don't play D&D. Not that that's not our...
Maybe we'll someday.
Thing, but maybe we'll someday. But that's not what we're playing now. We're playing fucking Symbaroum, boys. Let's go. I'm excited. Looking forward to it. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
Art will probably carry something next week. We're gone next week. We'll be back. Normal rotation. Spies and Symbaroum, baby.
Very nice.
Shit.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Take it easy.
Night, fellas.
The music during the RPG session in Foundry was provided by the Foundry module Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find his Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music, all one word.